My wife finally snapped. She said, "I'm done being a wife, figure it out." After months of her being distant and always out at late-night work events, I did exactly that. I figured it out with the prenup her own father made me sign. Sup, Reddit. My wife told me to deal with our dead marriage after she turned it into a roommate situation. Then I found out she'd been cheating the whole time, so yeah, I handled it. Grab your popcorn because here's how it went down. I'm Alan, 36. Blair and I have been married 8 years. She's 33. The first 3 or 4 years were genuinely good. We bought a fixer-upper in Riverside, one of those old 80s split-level houses, and spent our weekends knocking down walls, refinishing floors, learning how to tile off YouTube videos. We cooked at home most nights. Just normal married life. I'm an industrial welder at a manufacturing plant, been there 11 years. Started as general labor, worked my way up. Solid pay, union backing, and I know my metals, steel, aluminum, TIG, stainless, pipework. I could weld in my sleep. Blair worked downtown as a senior recruiter at a consulting firm. Totally different worlds, but it worked. She'd talk about hiring candidates. I'd talk about the guy who nearly blew up the acetylene tanks. It was our balance around year 4. Things shifted. She got promoted to lead recruiter, and suddenly her schedule exploded. Late nights, networking dinners, team events. More time downtown than at home. I picked up extra shifts too, so at first it didn't seem strange. But the distance kept growing. Dinner together went from daily to rare. I'd end up eating frozen pizza alone at 10 p.m. while she texted that she was out networking. I'd plan date nights, buy concert tickets she said she wanted to see, clear my schedule, and then get a last-minute text saying she had a work thing. Later, I'd see her on Instagram at some rooftop place with half her office. I tried to be understanding. I didn't want to be the husband who held her back. But she changed. The way she looked at me changed. She used to smile when I came home covered in metal dust. Then she stopped even glancing up from her phone. The real shift started about 18 months ago when Tatiana entered the picture, one of Blair's coworkers. Mid-40s, divorced 3 times, always preaching about living your best life and never settling. She started coming over all the time or FaceTiming for hours. I'd be in the garage working and hear things through the window like, "You make more than him anyway. Blue-collar guys have no ambition. You're wasting your potential." Every time Blair hung out with her, she came back colder. Started throwing around lines like, "I need to prioritize myself," or "I'm done settling." I didn't even know what she thought she was settling for. I cooked half the meals, did my laundry, and kept the house running. I tried to save things. Booked a weekend at a lakeside cabin. She canceled that morning because of a conference. Tried talking. She said I was overthinking. Brought her favorite takeout. She ate while scrolling. Intimacy dropped from regular to rare to basically gone. She moved into the spare room. I'd wake at 3 a.m. hearing her laughing on the phone. When I asked who it was, she snapped that it was a West Coast placement. The house felt like a storage facility we happened to share. Around then my sister, Fiona, 39, sharp-tongued pharmaceutical rep, called. She'd never been Blair's biggest fan. I told her things were rough and she said, "Your wife checked out months ago. Open your eyes." I thought she was exaggerating. Turns out she wasn't. 7 months ago, after 10 weeks without any intimacy, I finally confronted Blair. Saturday morning, she was sitting in the kitchen scrolling. I sat across from her and said we needed to talk. She didn't even look up. "What about it?" I laid it out calmly. We lived like roommates. She'd moved into the extra room. We didn't talk, didn't touch, didn't connect. I asked what she wanted. She put her phone down and said flatly, "I'm not sleeping with you anymore. Deal with it. I'm done pretending to be some housewife for a man who can't give me the life I deserve, the life she deserved." Meanwhile, I was paying half the mortgage, fixing everything in the house, handling maintenance, doing my share of the chores. But apparently that wasn't enough. I stared at her. She looked almost smug. "All right," I said. "I'll handle it." She just nodded and walked back to her room, probably thinking I'd finally accepted her new arrangement. That I'd keep paying bills, keeping the house running, staying out of her way while she lived however she wanted. She had no idea what I meant by handle it. That night, I called my best friend Dante, been tight since we were 16. Heavy equipment operator, doesn't sugarcoat anything. I told him everything. He listened and then said exactly what I needed to hear. "Get out before you lose your mind. Crash in my spare room if you need to," that's what Dante told me. And honestly, he was right. I packed a duffel bag that night, clothes, toiletries, laptop, a few tools. Left a note on the kitchen counter, "You wanted space. Here it is. Don't contact me unless it's necessary." I walked out at 5 a.m. before she even woke up first thing that morning. I opened a new bank account, moved my direct deposit, calculated my exact half from the joint account, withdrew only what was mine and left her share untouched. Documented everything. Then I booked a meeting with a divorce attorney for Monday. Dante lived near the industrial park. He worked rotating shifts, so evenings were quiet. We'd sit on his couch, watch whatever game was on, eat Chinese takeout, talk about normal things. Blair texted me a few times that first week, all business, mortgages due, water bill came. No apology, no come home. Just updates like I was an old roommate. My appointment with the attorney was Thursday morning. Dante came with me. The lawyer Carter was recommended by Dante's brother. His office was on 4th Street. I showed up with every document I had. Bank statements, retirement accounts, tax returns, mortgage papers. About 12 minutes into explaining everything, Carter held up a hand. "Did you sign a prenup?" "Yeah," I said. Her dad pushed for it before the wedding. Blair's dad is one of those investment banker, protect the family money types. When we got engaged, he insisted on a prenup, basic stuff about keeping premarital assets separate. I hadn't cared. I wasn't marrying her for her family's money. I signed it without making a big deal. I handed the folder to Carter. He started reading. 6 minutes later, he leaned back and smiled. "Alan, there's an infidelity clause in this." I blinked. "Meaning, if either spouse is proven to have had an affair, that person walks away with zero from the joint assets and gets no spousal support." That hit hard. Suddenly, all the late nights, the attitude changes, the work trips, the 3 a.m. calls, the constant secrecy, it all snapped into place. Then I remembered something. The old tablet in the kitchen drawer. The one we used for recipes years ago. We'd set it up under our shared cloud account. If she'd been messaging someone and that tablet was still synced, everything would be there. Carter saw the look on my face. "Don't break any laws," he warned. "I won't," I said. I walked out of his office with a plan. Blair had a 4-day work trip to Atlanta coming up. House would be empty. I still had my key. That week felt like a month. Work, welding, pretending to watch TV at Dante's, waiting. Wednesday night she texted that she was boarding. At 10 p.m. I drove to the house, found the tablet exactly where I thought it would be. Plugged it in. Took 30 minutes to charge and sync. There were 312 unread messages. Most were junk, except a contact saved as R. I opened the thread. First message was from 7 months ago, right when everything between us started falling apart. It began innocently, work updates, thanks for recommendations, but it shifted fast. Flirting, inside jokes, plans to meet after recruiting events. And then it went straight into full-blown affair territory. Messages about hotel rooms. Dates, times. Complaints about me. "He's so checked out, we're just roommates now." He doesn't even try funny, considering I was trying to plan weekends away while she canceled them for conferences. She was spending with this guy then. He'll never notice. He's too focused on his job. That one burned photos, too. Restaurant selfies. Hotel bars, a picture clearly taken in a hotel room, even one taken in our guest room. His name was Raphael, a consultant I'd seen at her work events. 3-piece suit guy, too slick for his own good. She'd mentioned him endlessly, Raphael this, Raphael that, Raphael's idea for the team. I sat on the kitchen floor and screenshot everything, every message, every picture, every hotel charge she'd paid from our joint account. 7 months of hard evidence in her own words and receipts. She didn't even bother hiding it. Arrogance or stupidity, maybe both. I sent all of it to Carter that night. Messages, photos, financial records, everything. He called within 2 hours. "This is airtight," he said. "With the prenup and this evidence, she's walking away with basically nothing. Maybe she'd keep whatever retirement savings she had before the wedding." That was about it. Carter asked, "Are you sure you want to move forward?" "Absolutely," I told him. "File it all." Fiona called me that night. "Finally, I told you she was trash months ago. This is going to be chef's kiss." Blair came back from Atlanta on Friday. She acted like nothing had happened. Didn't ask where I'd been, didn't ask about my week. Just texted me about bills she suddenly couldn't figure out how to pay. Asked if I could stop by Sunday morning to help. So I went. She was waiting at the kitchen table like she was heading a board meeting. Gestured for me to sit. I was curious, so I did. She launched into this rehearsed little monologue about how during her trip she'd been reflecting. And she believed our marriage needed to become more modern and flexible. She literally used corporate language, restructuring, redefining roles, optimizing independence. Her plan was basically, Keep splitting the bills, keep living in the same house, stay out of each other's way, and let her do whatever she wanted without any expectations. I'm just not interested in traditional marriage anymore, she said. But we don't have to ruin everything. If you can adjust, we can make this work. She didn't ask where I'd been staying, didn't ask if I was okay, didn't apologize for anything. Just presented a lifestyle where I continued supporting her comfort while she got total freedom. I looked at her, calm, polished, wearing an outfit that cost more than a week of my pay. She truly thought she was negotiating a contract. I gave her a small smile that could work. I'll have to sort out some details, but yeah, we can make something like that happen, she relaxed. Completely convinced, she talked me into her setup. Meanwhile, Carter was finalizing divorce paperwork right at that moment. Everything was being submitted Monday morning, perfectly organized. And her ridiculous proposal only made my decision easier. Monday morning, Carter filed the entire packet. The prenup with the infidelity clause highlighted, every message, photo, bank record, receipt, sync, timestamp, everything. Then, because Blair loved acting superior and professional, Carter arranged for her to be served at her office, during work hours, in front of her whole recruitment team and 2 senior partners. Maximum impact. I wasn't there, but the process server told Carter he walked in around 3 p.m. Tuesday, said her name, handed her the envelope, and watched her face go pale as she read petition for dissolution of marriage across the top. She called me 23 times. I ignored every call. Dante and I sat there eating pizza listening to her voicemails. Then around 7 p.m. she showed up at Dante's apartment. I was on the couch. Dante opened the door. She looked destroyed, smeared makeup, blotchy face, eyes puffy. She pushed past him and saw me sitting there calm as ever. What did you just do to me? You had me served at work, Alan, in front of everyone. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was? The whole team saw, the partner saw, everyone knows. I stayed relaxed. Took another bite of pizza, you told me to deal with it, I said. So I did, then I reached for the tablet on Dante's coffee table. Opened her messages with Raphael, slowly scrolled. Didn't even read them aloud, just let her see her own words, her own selfies, her own hotel photos flashing across the screen, her face drained. She looked like she couldn't breathe. She lunged for the tablet. Dante stepped between us, not touching her, just blocking her. How dare you go through my private messages? That's illegal. I'll sue you. I'll take the house. I'll take your retirement. It's not private, I said. It was on a shared device synced to our shared cloud account in our shared home. My lawyer already confirmed it. Want the statute numbers? I can list them. I showed her the timeline. The receipts, her own screenshots. Her own hotel confirmations from our joint account. She had nothing to say. Alan, please, she finally whispered. It meant nothing. I was confused. Raphael doesn't matter. It's over. We ended it weeks ago. When? I asked. Silence. Let me guess, it ended about 5 seconds ago when you realized you might face consequences instead of just restructuring our marriage. She started crying harder. Fake, desperate, we can fix this. Counseling, whatever you want. I'll change, I'll be better. No, I told her. You said you were done being a wife. You told me to accept the dead bedroom and your absence. You insulted my work while using our joint money to book hotel rooms with your coworker. And I am dealing with it. You just don't like the version of dealing with it that doesn't benefit you. And that's exactly when Tatiana walked in, like a villain entering the scene at the worst possible moment. No idea if Blair called her or if she'd been lurking outside, but Tatiana stormed into Dante's apartment like she was there to save the day. She went straight for me with that same self-righteous attitude. You're really going to ruin 8 years over one mistake. Men cheat all the time and women are expected to forgive them. But when a woman slips once because she feels neglected, suddenly it's unforgivable. Typical male nonsense. Dante cut her off. Tatiana, you've been divorced 3 times all because you cheated. And you've spent 2 years telling Blair she deserved better than Alan. Don't act like you didn't help create this mess. She flushed, stuttering something about supporting her friend's independence. You were projecting your own disasters onto her, I said. And now you're mad she's facing the same consequences you did. How are those legal fees from divorce number 3? By the way, everything fell apart from there. Tatiana yelling about patriarchy, Blair sobbing about second chances, Dante calmly explaining prenups. I eventually walked out, drove around for 2 hours, grabbed drive-thru, came home after midnight. Fiona called while I was driving. Heard you served the papers at her office. I'm so proud I might cry. Want me to slash your tires now? Still no, I said. Patience. Best revenge is served cold and with documentation. The next few days were all legal work. Blair's attorney challenged the tablet evidence. Carter crushed that in an hour. Then they tried invalidating the prenup. Carter had notarized documents, witness statements, emails, everything airtight. The infidelity clause destroyed their case. Her lawyer recommended immediate settlement. She had no leverage. She tried texting me for a week that she missed me, loved me, wanted to fix things. I didn't buy it. She missed the lifestyle, not me. 2 weeks later, I got a Facebook message from a woman named Harper. She turned out to be Raphael's now ex. She'd found messages between him and Blair. Same cheating pattern, different victim. We talked for an hour. She was sharp, straightforward, dark humor, no drama. After a few messages, she said, "If you want to grab coffee and talk about our terrible exes, I'm down." No pressure. I agreed. We met that Saturday. She was a freelance photographer with a cynical but honest outlook. We ended up laughing about how ridiculous it was that both our lives intersected because of those two disasters. One coffee turned into dinner the next week, then milkshakes, then Harper coming over to see the small house I'd just bought near the plant. We were sitting in my living room talking about photography and welding, trying to decide if they had anything in common besides heat and precision, when she looked at me and said, "This is weird, right? Us being here, extremely weird," I said. But good weird, and honestly it was. It felt easy, natural. She listened, she laughed, she actually wanted to be there. After months of chaos, it felt like breathing again. We'd been seeing each other for about 3 weeks when Fiona showed up unannounced one afternoon. She took one look at Harper and nodded. "I like her. She's a keeper, we're not rushing." I said, "Oh please." She smirked. "She's into you." Apparently word spread fast because Blair's text shifted from sad apologies to angry accusations, claiming I moved on too fast, that I was dating Raphael's ex to hurt her, that I was being vindictive. I ignored all of it and forwarded screenshots to Carter. Then Tatiana jumped in, lecturing me about using Harper for revenge and men not handling women having agency. Same old nonsense. I showed the message to Harper. She read it, rolled her eyes, and asked, "Want me to respond? Go ahead." She typed, "Tatiana, not everything revolves around your drama. Alan and I connected because we both got cheated on. The difference is we're moving forward instead of blaming everyone else. Stop projecting your 3 failed marriages onto other people." Then she blocked Tatiana on my phone. That work? Perfect. 5 weeks later was the settlement hearing. It took maybe 30 minutes. The judge reviewed the prenup, the infidelity clause, and the documents. Blair showed up looking smaller, exhausted, wearing clothes that didn't fit right. She didn't argue, just signed everything. The house was mine. Savings were mine. She left with her car, her premarital retirement account, and whatever belongings she brought into the marriage. No spousal support, no alimony. 8 years dissolved in half an hour. I walked out feeling like I'd dropped 100 pounds. Harper was waiting in the sun. "How'd it go?" "Clean sweep, good." She smiled. "Want to get lunch and celebrate your freedom?" We did. We avoided talking about my ex the entire time, and it felt like starting over. 2 months after everything finalized, things escalated in a way I didn't expect. Harper and I had been together about 4 months, slow, steady, solid. She kept clothes at my place. She'd met coworkers at a plant barbecue. It felt real. Meanwhile, things had gotten worse for Blair. Raphael ghosted her once the divorce was official. Tatiana bilayed too. Apparently empowerment didn't include helping with consequences. Blair ended up alone, moving into a cheap apartment she once mocked. Her Instagram shifted from curated perfection to vague posts about healing that screamed her life had fallen apart. Then, one Saturday morning, everything exploded. Harper was in my kitchen making breakfast, wearing one of my old work shirts, comfortable and at home. And that's when it happened. We'd stayed up talking until 2 a.m. The next morning I was in the garage when I heard someone pounding on the door. Harper opened it, still holding a spatula. Blair stood there looking completely unhinged. She saw me coming around the corner and her face flipped from sad to furious instantly. "Are you serious? You're with her now, making breakfast?" Harper stayed calm. "Hi, Blair. We actually met once at a recruiting event. Raphael introduced me as his colleague." Small world. Blair's face twisted. "This is disgusting. You're doing this to hurt me." I stepped forward. "I know who she is. Someone who got cheated on by the same guy you cheated with. This is sick," Blair yelled. 8 years together and you move on instantly. "Not everything is about you," Harper said. "We connected because we got burned by the same 2 people. The difference is we're moving on instead of showing up at someone's house having a meltdown." That pushed Blair over the edge. She shoved Harper hard. "Huge mistake, Harper. who I'd learned used to compete in amateur kickboxing, didn't even flinch. She grabbed Blair's wrist. Don't. Blair tried to swing again. Harper blocked it easily and swept her legs out from under her. Blair hit the porch with a loud thud. Get up and leave, Harper said. Or I call the police and you can explain why you assaulted someone on their own property. Blair scrambled up screaming insults and tried to lunge again. Harper sidestepped and pinned her against the garage door with almost no effort. We're done. Walk to your car and leave. Quickly. My eggs are getting cold. Harper let her go. Blair staggered back, mascara everywhere, looking at me like I'd rescue her. So you're just going to let your witch attack me? I shrugged. You were told to leave. You're trespassing. She hesitated, then stormed to her car, parked halfway on my lawn, and peeled out like she was escaping a crime scene. Harper turned to me. Sorry, she shoved me first. Legally self-defense, that was the least sorry apology I've ever heard, I said. She grinned. I'm not that sorry. Finish breakfast. About an hour later, Fiona called. Someone recorded the whole thing. Your girlfriend handled your ex on your porch like a champ. I'm getting it framed, please don't. Too late. Also, Harper is officially invited to every holiday. A few days later, Blair sent one last text. She'd be filing charges against Harper for assault. I forwarded it to Carter. He replied quickly, tell her to go ahead. I have video from 3 neighbors showing she started it twice. If she files, I countersue for harassment, trespassing, and assault. She won't win. Forward this to her? I did. Never heard from Blair again. 3 months later, Harper and I are still together. She understands me in ways Blair never did. She doesn't look down on my job, doesn't treat me like a backup plan, and she actually thinks welding is cool. She asks about my projects, even came to watch me work once and thought it was interesting. She appreciates the fact that I can build things with my hands. Fiona loves her, which is the highest stamp of approval possible. Dante approves too, and that matters since he watched me go through everything. Life is calm now. Exactly what I needed after years of tiptoeing around a collapsing marriage. From what I heard through mutual contacts and Fiona's unofficial spy network, Blair burned through her savings in 6 months and had to move back in with her parents. Turns out luxury apartments and the lifestyle she believed she deserved require more than motivational quotes on Instagram. Tatiana is working on divorce number 4. Somehow she found another person willing to fall for the same pattern. Meanwhile, I'm spending weekends welding custom furniture people actually buy. Harper's photography business is growing steady. More clients, more gigs, and work she's proud of. We're planning a trip to Colorado in the fall to photograph mountains and maybe hike a bit. Honestly, the best revenge is living better than they ever thought you would, building a peaceful life while they spiral. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you meet someone who understands what you went through and can even handle themselves when your unhinged ex shows up. Blair told me to deal with it. So I did. Just not in the way she expected, guys. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. It really helps us reach that milestone. Thanks for making this dream possible.